What's going on, folks? Out and about today. It's raining, so I'm going to get from under these trees and try to find some shelter in a short while. But I did want to talk to you guys really quickly if I could. And today, I'll make this really quick. We're going to talk about the narcissists whom you work with and the fucking fools who hire them. The narcissists at your job and the fucking fools, the supervisors, the bosses, managers, whatever you want to call them, who hired these people. Many of you go to work every day and you deal with co-workers who are not professional, people who don't do their jobs well, right? People who play around, people who are pranksters. I was looking at the news the other night when I happened to come across a report about water falling on my head. No. I happened to come across a report about there was a situation in a town where someone had taken photos or had filmed another coworker spitting in the food of a customer, and they posted it online. And what ended up happening is they fired that employee, and I'm sure they fired the person, the culprit. And that was appropriate. And we can talk about if we think it was the right decision for the company. A lot of companies have their protocols, and when you get hired there, they may tell you what to talk about or what to disclose because it's a business thing. And I'm not going to get into what the company actually decided to do in the end. Okay? Because maybe that person should have just taken it to higher ups or something. I don't know. But today we're going to talk about those people, the person, the culprit, the person who actually spit in the food, right? The fucking fools of the world that you work with. In some cases, you're those people. And more importantly, the asshole bosses, the assholic bosses who hired these people, who thought they were competent, who thought they had the magic, right? And you see this all the time at your jobs. You see these situations where this new coworker gets in there and they seem like they're go-getters and they seem like they want to learn and they're eager to work with people. But after a short while, that mask, the mask that the narcissist wears, because that's who we're talking about here. Because if you're going to spit in someone's food, then you have some narcissistic tendencies. So therefore, we're going to address that. The fools at your job who have a tendency to want to be mischievous. And when they do that, there's always a consequence. So they got fired. But let's talk about the consequences on a bigger level. Your bosses. What do they lose out on? What do you lose out on? Well, I keep telling you guys that customers are important when you have a business. They're your life's blood. If they don't show up, then you don't have a business. And many people go to jobs and just do not understand the dynamics of, employer, employee, customer, right? The customer is the bottom line because they're the reason why you have an employer, and they're the reason why a lot of your punk asses become employees. You get it? So what happens when you have a fucking fool for a boss? And this boss hires the wrong type of people. I've seen it so many times in my life, folks. I can count the times that, on my fingers that I've seen people come to a job and be completely wholly competent and take that company to new heights. Haven't seen it much in my life. When I hire people to do work for me, I'm not an asshole about it. But I do look for, and because I am an empath, I do look for certain characteristics in the people that I'm dealing with because I don't really like dealing with narcissists. That would be counterproductive for me, right? So when you get these jobs and you go into these workspaces, the first thing you want to do is you want to set yourself up in a professional way where you're conducting yourself appropriately, okay? You're doing good customer service if you're working in such a field. And you're not going to let a narcissistic coworker put you in a situation where you're out of a job. See, the reason why I would have done more than film the thing is because when I think about it, I go out and eat sometimes. I haven't done it in a while. And this is one of those reasons why I probably will pass up the next trip, because I'm not interested in eating spit from someone. But this is what happens every day in different ways. People may drop your food on the floor, pick it back up, because they have low-grade characteristics. I could be at home cooking something. If I dropped it on the floor, I wouldn't eat it, right? So that standard that I set for myself is the same standard that I have in place when I'm in a professional environment, if I were working somewhere, and I were dealing with customers. I would treat them with respect, the same courtesy that I would extend to myself. And a lot of you people do not have the mirror, and that's how you get situations where you have people spitting in your food and, doing all types of god-awful things. Because y'all don't have God. And that's the problem. Oh yeah, I was going to get that in there. So the narcissistic, assholic bosses who pass the buck all the time and who make excuses for these poor workers seem to ride you a lot. When it's time for you to do your job, they seem to be really, anal about how you do your job. You need to cross your T's and dot your I's and all of that stuff. But these other coworkers, they get the fuck around, right? And that's what I'm trying to show you guys, is that the narcissistic boss is just as batshit crazy as the employees that they hire. As a matter of fact, any employees that they bring in will probably be exactly like them, because they're narcissists, right? They only think in terms of what benefits them. So when they hire a person, if they have that type of authority, they will make sure that the person is willing to kiss up to them or whatever. Okay? So you guys remember that. I'm not going to make this long. It's raining outside. Have a good day. Pick up my book on Amazon. I Love Bad Behavior. You can pick it up on my website, thinkbehavior.info. I love bad behavior. I don't like assholes. And I don't. Take care.